I lost my father when I was in the second year of my master's degree, and I wasn't really sure whether I should continue into PhD. 6 years later, today, I'm really glad I made that decision to continue. And in today's video, I will be sharing with you my 4 mindset tips that always help me navigate through these difficult decision-making processes. Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rafaela. I'm an educational sociologist by day and content creator by night. And here in my channel, I talk about academic wellness, lifestyle. So if that's something that you are interested in, please subscribe to the channel. The same month I lost my father, I had to submit my PhD application. So I had to decide very fast whether I wanted to continue into the PhD program or not. So the first thing I did was to imagine myself quitting, just not continuing PhD, and how I would feel about that. Of course, I was grieving at the moment, so I had so many emotions going on in my mind. But when I imagined myself not having a PhD, I actually thought of my dad. Before he passed away, one of his last words literally was that he was really proud of myself for having continued my studies, and he never actually told me that. So when I found out he was telling his co-worker about myself, it really made me feel like, okay, I want to try this, and if I do not continue into this PhD program, I would definitely regret not doing that. The second thing I did was imagine my life 10 years from now, how it would look like. If I would be happier just having a master's degree, or would I be happier with a PhD? In my case, my answer was having the PhD, because I have imagined myself being a university professor, lecturing my students and also helping my community as a specialist in the field. So for me, having a PhD would definitely make me happier. I know 10 years from now sounds very distant, and for us academics, since we are very reserved, we don't share much about our lives, it's really difficult for us to have role models to see how our life could look like. But still, I definitely recommend you to go talk to your supervisor, for example, or some people that have already graduated from your course and they're working, and ask them about not just their work, but also about their life, how it's like, and how they're balancing their work, if that's something that you can envision for yourself. Sometimes we get so stuck into the moment that we're living that sometimes it's really difficult for us to see from it outside. Especially in my case, that I was living a very difficult moment in my life. I needed some hope for the future. And for me, when I thought about having a PhD, it really brought me joy. One exercise that I found later in my life that could definitely help you envision this 10 years from now was writing a diary, pretending that you were actually living 10 years from now. It sounds a little weird, but when you actually put into writing, you don't even have to write actually. You can just close your eyes and literally imagine you waking up in the morning in your dream house with your dream family, and then going to work, whether it's having a PhD or not. Imagine your life, how it could look like. That will definitely give you not just clarity, but also motivation to pursue that dream that you have. Now, even if you know that that decision is right for you, sometimes we're not sure about the timing. And that was my case, because I knew I wanted to get a PhD, but I also had the option to postpone it if I wanted to. So for me, when it comes to timing, I was really indecisive because I knew my family became very unstable, financially speaking, and I wanted to support them. But in the meantime, I knew that once I got out of academia for work for a year, I knew that it would be very challenging for me to go back to PhD. Why? Because in my university, if you go to master's and then you continue directly to PhD, you just don't have to take the exam. But once you go out, let's say, from academia, and then you want to go back, then you have to take an exam to continue to PhD. And I knew it would be really, really tough because I would be working full time and then having to study and also continue with my research, because even if I wasn't in academia, I would have to continue my studies and my research to collect data for my PhD program. Considering all these processes, I understood that for me, it was the right moment to pursue my PhD, to apply for that PhD program that year so I could continue my studies right after I finished my master's degree. But I know for some people that might not be the case. It might be easier for them to actually get a job and then come back. So just find out what's the best timing for you, considering both ways and all the process that you will have to go through, whether you choose to do it or not. And lastly, my biggest mindset tip that I would like to share is to just think as you go. You don't have to have the answer right now. Like in my case, even after I applied for my PhD, I wasn't really sure whether I made the right decision or not, because I don't know, part of me felt like I was being selfish, that I wasn't really being considerate with my family situation, especially when it comes to financially, because my younger sister was going to enter university the next year. And also my mom, she all of a sudden became a widow. And because of that, I was feeling kind of guilty for just pursuing what I wanted to do. And in my case, unfortunately, the timing of applying for a big fellowship in Japan was also at the time that my father passed away and I could not meet the application deadline. I wasn't mentally ready for that. So I knew that I would have to work and also do my PhD, and it would be really challenging. But still, I said, if I just get into the PhD and I feel like I cannot really juggle all the things at a time, I would just quit. That's it. I will figure out as I go, and that's okay. So those were the 4 mindset tips that I wanted to share with you, which was to imagine yourself quitting that dream. And then the second one was just to imagine yourself 10 years from now. And the third one was to consider the timing. And last, and my biggest mindset tip will be just think as you go. You don't have to figure out everything right now. It's okay for you to change your mind in the future. Just try and see what happens. If you're feeling uncertain about your future, about your career, about your academic life and all that, just know that it's normal. You don't have to blame yourself, and it's okay to share with others around you as well. And I would love to hear if you're having any struggles right now in your academic life or in your career in the comments, so that I can also reply back with my future videos. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.